The neon sign buzzed overhead, casting pink light across cracked pavement. Jade pressed her back against the brick wall outside the dive bar, her oversized vintage band tee hanging off one shoulder, ripped black jeans splattered with actual paint from her day job. She checked her phone. 9:47 p.m. Her friend's voice echoed in her head, "Just meet him. What's the worst that could happen?" Everything. Everything could happen. The bar door swung open. A guy stumbled out, not drunk, just clumsy. White sneakers that had seen better days. Gray hoodie with a coffee stain on the sleeve. His dark curls fell into his eyes as he nearly tripped over his own feet. "Jade?" His voice cracked. Nervous energy radiated off him like heat. "Unfortunately." He laughed, surprised. "I'm Eli." They grabbed a booth in the back where the leather was duct-taped and the jukebox played songs from 2015. The air smelled like stale beer and fried pickles. Jade ordered whiskey. Eli got water. "Not a drinker? Can't afford the hangover." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I work 2 jobs. Sleep is kind of a luxury." "Doing what?" "Warehouse stuff. Night shifts mostly." He fidgeted with the paper napkin, shredding it into tiny pieces. "What about you?" "I restore old furniture. Sand down the lies people paint over things and make them real again." Something flashed across his face. Recognition maybe. Or guilt. They talked for 2 hours. He listened like she was the only person in the world. When she mentioned her mom being sick, he reached across the table and just held her hand. No words. Just presence. The bill came. Jade grabbed it. "I've got this one." "No." His hand shot out too fast. Desperate. "Let me handle it." He pulled out his wallet. She saw it then. The worn leather. The single credit card. The way his jaw clenched. "How about we split it?" Relief washed over his face. "Next time?" "Bold of you to assume there'll be a next time." "Am I wrong?" Outside, the October wind bit through her thin jacket. Eli walked her to the bus stop, hands deep in his hoodie pocket. "This was actually not terrible," Jade said. High praise. At the bus stop, he turned to face her. In the streetlight, she saw shadows under his eyes. Old pain. Fresh exhaustion. "Good night, Jade." On the bus home, her phone lit up. "Eli, tonight meant something. Can we do this again? Somewhere that doesn't smell like an ashtray?" "Jade, there's a food market Saturday. Good tacos. Better vibes." "Eli, I'll be there." "Jade, don't be late." She smiled at her reflection in the bus window. What she didn't know was that Eli wasn't Eli at all. His real name was Elias Thorne, heir to a tech empire worth billions, and everything he'd just told her was a carefully constructed lie. But walking back to his luxury apartment 40 blocks away, Elias couldn't stop thinking about the way she'd looked at him. Like he was just a person. Not a transaction. Not a target. For the first time in 5 years, someone had seen him. Not his money. Not his name. Just him. And that terrified him more than any boardroom ever had. Saturday hit different. Golden light, cool air, the smell of street food mixing with fallen leaves. Jade stood by the taco stand wearing her faded denim jacket covered in pins and patches, black combat boots laced halfway up, hair pulled into a messy bun. Eli jogged up, slightly out of breath. Same hoodie. Different stain. His backpack looked like it had survived a war. "You actually showed. Did you think I wouldn't?" "Most people don't keep their word." They grabbed tacos and found a bench near the fountain. Jade watched him demolish his food like he hadn't eaten in days. When's the last time you had a real meal? He paused mid-bite. Define real. Eli. I'm fine. Just busy. She didn't push. Not yet. They walked through the market. Eli stopped at a vintage jewelry stand, his eyes catching on a simple silver ring. That's beautiful, he said quietly. You into jewelry? My mom had one like this. Before she sold everything. His voice dropped. Before she got sick. Before I had to drop out and start working. Jade's chest tightened. Is she okay now? She's gone. 3 years. He turned away. That's why I work so much. Trying to pay off her medical debt. Trying to make something of myself. Prove her struggle meant something. The vendor was watching them. Jade saw the ring's price tag. $40. She saw Eli's hand twitch toward his wallet, then fall. Come on, Jade said, pulling him away. Let's keep walking. But she circled back later when he was in the bathroom. Bought the ring. Slipped it into her pocket. They ended up at her apartment. A tiny studio above a laundromat. Exposed brick. Second-hand furniture she'd restored herself. Paint-splattered drop cloths in the corner. This is you, Eli said, looking around. It's perfect. Jade made tea. They sat on her floor, backs against the couch, talking until 2 a.m. About dreams that died. About starting over. About surviving when the world wanted you to quit. Can I tell you something? Eli's voice went soft. Vulnerable. Always. I haven't felt like a real person in so long. Everyone I meet wants something. Judges me for what I don't have. But you. He looked at her. Really looked. You just see me. Jade pulled the ring from her pocket. Handed it to him. What is this? A reminder. That someone saw you today. And thought you deserved something beautiful. His eyes filled. He tried to hand it back. I can't accept this. Too late. It's yours. He pulled her into a hug. She felt him shaking. Felt his walls crumbling. When he pulled back, his face was inches from hers. Jade, I need to tell you something. Her phone exploded with notifications. She glanced at the screen and her face went white. I have to go. Now. What's wrong? My mom. The hospital. She's worse. Eli grabbed his backpack. I'm coming with you. You don't have to. I know what this feels like. You're not doing it alone. They ran. The hospital was 15 blocks. By the time they arrived, Jade was sobbing, and Eli was holding her up. In the waiting room, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, Jade turned to him. Why are you here? You barely know me. Because when my mom died, I was alone. No one should feel that. She kissed him. Desperate. Grateful. Terrified. When she pulled back, he was staring at her like she'd just changed everything. Stay, she whispered. I'm not going anywhere. But in his pocket, Eli's phone vibrated. A text from his assistant. Marcus, the board meeting is in 6 hours. Your father is threatening to remove you as heir if you don't show. Stop playing poor and come home. Eli silenced his phone. He'd tell her the truth. Soon. Just not tonight. 3 weeks later, Jade's mom stabilized. 3 weeks of Eli showing up every single day. Bringing coffee. Holding her hand. Sleeping in uncomfortable hospital chairs. Being present in ways no one ever had been. Jade was falling. Hard. They were at her apartment, rain hammering against the windows. Eli sat on her floor, surrounded by paint samples for a dresser she was restoring. He wore an old flannel she'd given him, sleeves rolled up. His hair was longer now. He looked almost peaceful. "I got a promotion," Jade said. "More money. Better hours. That's amazing. Which means I can finally pay you back for all those hospital coffees. You don't owe me anything. Eli, you've spent hundreds on me. On my mom. Where are you even getting the money?" His face shifted. "Trapped. I've been picking up extra shifts. You're barely sleeping." "I'm fine. Stop lying to me." Her voice cracked. "I see you, remember? You can't fake exhaustion." Before he could answer, her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Is this Jade Chen?" A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. "Yes? This is Marcus Reed, executive assistant to Elias Thorne. I'm calling to inform you that Mr. Thorne will no longer be able to continue this social experiment. The car will pick him up in 10 minutes. Jade's blood went ice cold. "Who?" "Elias Thorne. The person you know as Eli. His identity verification is being sent to your email now. Have a pleasant evening." The line went dead. Jade pulled up her email. Her hands shook. Photos loaded. Eli at charity galas in $1,000 suits. Eli on magazine covers. Eli standing next to his father, tech billionaire Richard Thorne. Net worth, $4.7 billion. She turned slowly. Eli was standing now, face drained of color. "Jade. Don't." Her voice shattered. "Don't say my name. Let me explain." "Explain what?" "That you've been lying to me for a month. That you pretended to be broke. That you let me buy you that ring while you probably own the company that made it. It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like, Elias?" She spat his real name like poison. "Was this entertaining? Watching the poor girl fall for the fake struggling guy? Did you laugh about it with your rich friends?" "No." He moved toward her. She backed away. "Everything I felt was real. You don't get to decide what's real. I trusted you. I let you in. I showed you my mom at her sickest. And you were just playing dress up. I needed to know if someone could love me for me. Not my money. Not my name. Just me. You wanted to know if I was real?" Jade laughed, broken. "While being the fakest person I've ever met?" "Jade, please." A knock at the door. A man in a suit stood there. "Mr. Thorne. The car is waiting." "I'm not leaving. Your father insists." Eli turned back to Jade. His eyes were desperate. Raw. "I love you. You don't even know what love is." Tears streamed down her face. "Love is honesty. Love is showing up as yourself. You did neither. I can fix this. Get out. Jade. Get out." He left. The silver ring sat on her table. She picked it up, feeling its weight. Remembering how he'd cried when she gave it to him. All of it. Every moment. A lie. She threw the ring across the room and collapsed. What she didn't see was Eli in the car, head in his hands, sobbing harder than he had since his mother's funeral. What she didn't hear was him telling his father on the phone, "I'm done. With the company. With the lies. With all of it." And what she couldn't possibly know was that Marcus hadn't called on accident. Someone wanted Jade to find out. Someone who benefited from Eli's pain. The game was bigger than either of them realized. And it was just beginning. 2 months of silence. Jade threw herself into work. Sanded furniture until her hands bled. Avoided the places they'd been. Blocked his number after the 100th unanswered call. Her mom asked about him once. Jade said he'd moved away. It was easier than explaining betrayal. Then the eviction notice came. The building was sold. New owners. Rent tripling. She had 30 days. Jade sat on her apartment floor, surrounded by half-finished furniture, and let herself break. For the first time since the hospital, she cried until there was nothing left. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? It's me. Eli's voice. Wrecked. Please don't hang up. She should have. Her finger hovered over the end button. What do you want? To explain. In person. Give me 10 minutes. Then I'll never contact you again. Against every instinct, she texted him her address. He showed up 20 minutes later. No car. No suit. He'd walked. In the rain. His old hoodie soaked through. Face thinner. Eyes haunted. He looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. Say what you need to say. Marcus made that call. Not me. My father's assistant. He stayed in the doorway, dripping. My dad wanted me to come home. Wanted this to end. So he had Marcus tell you everything in the worst possible way. That doesn't change what you did. I know. But I need you to understand why. He took a shaky breath. My mom didn't die from cancer. She died from the stress of being married to my father. The pressure. The image. The performance. She became someone she hated because that's what his world demanded. Jade's arms crossed tighter. When she died, I realized I was becoming him. Cold. Calculating. Seeing people as assets. So I left. Pretended to be broke. Tried to feel human again. His voice cracked. Then I met you. And for the first time in 5 years, I felt real. Not because I was pretending to be poor. But because you made me want to be better. You still lied. I did. And I've spent 2 months hating myself for it. He pulled something from his pocket. The silver ring. I was going to tell you everything that night at the hospital. But then your mom got worse and it felt selfish. I kept waiting for the right time. There was never a right time. There were 1,000 right times. You chose none of them. You're right. And I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know that everything I felt was real. Every moment. Every word. You weren't an experiment. You were the first person who saw past the noise and found something worth knowing. Jade felt her walls cracking. Why are you here, Eli? Because I heard about your eviction. Her blood froze. How? I still have connections. And I'm here to offer help. I don't want your money. I know. That's why I'm offering something else. He pulled out a folder. I bought this building. All of it. The new owner was my father's company. He bought it specifically to push you out. To punish me by hurting you. What? So I outbid him. Paid triple what it's worth. And I'm signing it over to you. Full ownership. No strings. The building is yours. Jade stared at the papers. Her hands shook. This is insane. It's the only real thing I've done in months. Take it. Rent out the other units. Use the income to take care of your mom. Build the life you deserve. Why would you do this? Because I destroyed your trust. I can't fix that. But I can make sure my family never hurts you again. He set the folder on her table. There's one more thing. What? I'm leaving. Permanently. I signed over my inheritance to charity. Cut ties with my father. I'm starting over. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere I can be just Eli. You're running away. No. I'm choosing myself. The way my mom never got to. He turned to leave. I love you, Jade. The real you. The you that calls me out and sees through walls and makes broken things beautiful again. I just wish I'd been brave enough to show you the real me sooner. He walked to the door. Eli. He stopped. Didn't turn around. The ring. Why do you still have it? Because it's the only real thing I own. Everything else was built on lies. But this? His voice broke. You gave this to me when you thought I was nobody. That means everything. He left. Jade stood in the silence, staring at the folder. Inside was the building deed. And a note. You once told me you restore things by sanding down the lies. Thank you for trying to do that for me. Even if I wasn't ready to be restored. Build something beautiful here. You deserve that. E. She picked up her phone. Her finger hovered over his number. Then she saw something else in the folder. A second note. Different handwriting. If you're reading this, my son finally grew a spine. But know this, he gave up $4.7 billion for you. His entire future. His security. Everything. Not because he thinks money will fix this. But because he'd rather have nothing and know you're safe than have everything and know I could hurt you. Whatever you think of him, that choice was real. Richard Thorne. Jade's hands shook. Eli had sacrificed everything. Not to buy her forgiveness. But to protect her from his world. She grabbed her jacket and ran. Jade found him at the dive bar where they'd first met. Same booth. Same duct-taped leather. He was nursing a water, staring at nothing. She slid into the seat across from him. He looked up. Shock. Hope. Fear. You shouldn't be here. Neither should you. Didn't you say you were leaving? Tomorrow morning. Early train. Where to? Don't know yet. Somewhere small. Somewhere no one knows my name. He looked broken. Somewhere I can figure out who I actually am. Jade set the ring on the table between them. You left this. It's yours. You paid for it. No. You paid for it. With the only thing that mattered. Your truth. She pushed it toward him. I've spent 2 months being angry. Being hurt. Being right. You were right. I was. But I was also wrong. She took a breath. You lied about who you were. But I lied too. I pretended like I was this strong, independent person who didn't need anyone. Truth is, I was terrified. Of being vulnerable. Of letting someone in. Of being hurt again. Jade. Let me finish. When you showed up as broke Eli, I felt safe. Because I thought I had the power. I thought I was helping you. Saving you. But really, we were both pretending. Her voice cracked. You pretended to be poor. I pretended to be whole. You are whole. No. I'm broken. My mom's sick. I'm barely surviving. I restore furniture because I can't fix myself. And when you walked in with your fake life, I saw someone more broken than me. It made me feel less alone. Eli reached across the table. Hesitated. She took his hand. So what do we do now? He asked. I don't know. You gave up everything for me. That's heavy. That's not a gift. That's a weight. I didn't do it for you to feel obligated. I did it because my father's world is poison. I needed to cut it out. You just gave me the courage to do it. What if we start over? Jade said quietly. No lies. No games. Just two incredibly broken people trying to figure out how to be real. You'd want that? After everything? I don't trust you yet. That's going to take time. Maybe a lot of time. But I want to try. She squeezed his hand. Because the truth is, I've been miserable without you. And I hate that. I hate that you matter. I hate that I miss you. But I do. Eli's eyes filled. I miss you too. Every second. So here's the deal. You don't run away. You stay. You get a real job. A real apartment. You build a real life. Not because you're pretending to be broke. But because you're choosing simplicity. And you? I stop pretending I don't need help. I accept the building. Not as charity. But as a chance to build something bigger than myself. To help other people who are struggling like my mom. She paused. And we take this slow. No pressure. No expectations. Just honesty. I can do that. Can you? Because the second you lie to me again, I'm gone. Forever. I won't. I swear on my mother's memory. No more lies. They sat in silence. The jukebox played something old and sad. The neon sign buzzed outside. So what now? Eli asked. Now we finish our drinks. Then we walk out of here. Together. And we figure out the rest as we go. That's simple? Nothing about this is simple. But maybe that's the point. She stood, held out her hand. Come on. He took it. They walked out into the November cold. The city stretched around them, indifferent and beautiful. Hey, Jade? Yeah? Thank you. For giving me a second chance. Don't thank me yet. You have to earn it. I will. Every day. They walked through the streets, past the coffee shops and broken streetlights and places where their lies had lived. But now, in the cold night air, with their hands intertwined and their truths finally spoken, something shifted. They weren't healed. They weren't fixed. But they were real. And sometimes, that's the bravest thing two people can be. 6 months later, Jade stood in the renovated building. The first floor was now a community workshop. Free furniture restoration classes for people who needed skills. A place for broken things to become whole again. Eli walked in, wearing paint-stained jeans and an old t-shirt. He worked construction now. Made enough to get by. Smiled more. Slept better. Ready to go? He asked. Almost. She looked around. We did good here. You did good. I just helped. We did it together. He kissed her forehead. Together. I like the sound of that. They locked up and walked into the evening. Behind them, the workshop glowed with warm light. A place for broken people to learn that damage doesn't define you. How you rebuild does. The end.